In this lesson, we're going to build across the A-pillar of the car. Alright, so in the last lesson, I know that I said we were going to extrude out this little scoop here, and we were going to finish out its details. I was looking at that, and I don't think that would be the best way to approach it. And so sometimes, there's a better way of solving a problem. Okay, and so let's not quite finish that just yet. Let's make sure that we get everything else on the body taken care of before we start smoothing things like that out. So to get started here, we're going to be creating the A-pillar, okay? And this is basically the part of the frame that actually goes around the window, and it kind of starts to block in the windshield, the window, and then even the back glass. So to do this, let's select our object. Let's go to Edge Mode, and let's select this edge right here, and it should be in line. Actually, we want the next one. Sorry about that. Let's go to this one right here. Let me hit F3 so you can see that. And it basically starts this shape right here. Okay. So let's hold Shift. Let's drag that straight up in the Y. And then I'm going to hit Alt-X to see through that and go to Vertex Mode by hitting 1. And we're going to place these points right in here. Now, I know that it's not quite on all the way, but I'm going to go ahead and just leave it with the single polygon. It's just going to be easier to work with for right now. Then I'm going to go to my front view, and that edge with it selected, we're going to pull that across until it meets the corner right here with our windshield. Okay, so something like that. Now, with this polygon, let's go to our left view, or with that edge selected, let's actually select this one, and we're going to hold Shift, and we're going to drag that up, and we're going to drag it up, and we're going to try to keep our polygons about the same size here. And we're going to drag it up until we meet right here at the windshield. Now, you may want to come in and just kind of even out some of these polygons a little bit, and then definitely you'll want to come in and modify the shape so that way it matches that. Okay, so get a nice smooth shape here. Okay, matching that edge, and then we'll go across the top edge as well. There we go. All right, and that's going to come right down to that. See how smooth that looks there? I mean, even just looking at the smoothing itself, it's just really nice there. Okay, great. So now we want to just continue right over the top here. But before we continue over the top, let's make sure that we get all of this matched up. So the easiest point to figure out right now is going to be this vertex and this vertex, because we can see that in the reference image. So let's go up here to our front view. Let's pull that across to the right, and we're going to pull that to that point, but then we're going to take this vertex and we're going to pull that across. Well, no, let's leave that right where it was at, actually. Let's take this point, or this edge, let's pull that across until that meets. And then we'll take this one, pull that across until it meets. And then this one, pull that across too. Okay, so it should look something like that. Now, it's not quite the shape that we want here. I mean, it's close, but it's not quite there. We need it to point toward us a little bit more. So looking at this, if I take this vertex, if we go to our left view, you can see that this is at the very top of that, where it's actually meeting the corner of that windshield. So I need to actually bring that in to right about here. Then we're going to take the next one, we're going to bring that until it meets the edge of the windshield. And we're going to do that all the way down. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Let's take that, let's pull it across. Take this one, let's pull that across to that edge. And then this one. And then finally this one. It's going to start to spread out a little bit more. We may want to bring these in a little bit closer to the edge. Let's not pull them out to the edge of the black there, because that's actually a rubber piece that goes around the windshield. Okay. So just making some quick adjustments. Let's pull it to right here where it first meets. So you should have something that looks kind of like this. Okay. Going to look a little funny at first, but we'll definitely get this. So let's go to our left view. With that edge selected, let's hold Shift, and let's continue to pull that around trying to keep our polygons about the same size. Okay, we're going to go right across here. And then what I'm doing from here is I'm going to take these vertices and I'm going to pull those, and I'm just trying to get the polygons to look like they're flowing in the direction that I'm dragging them. So I just kind of straighten up that top polygon, and you can see that it's kind of allowing the polygons to turn into the direction that they're going. Okay, that's managing your edge flow. Okay, let's take this edge, let's hold shift, let's drag that out to the edge here. And then I'm going to turn this, and then I'm going to pull one out here. And then we'll turn that polygon. And then we'll hold shift, we're going to drag that out again. And then this is going to start to spread out a little bit. And then hold shift, drag this out to here. Pull that out to there. There we go. All right, so now what I need to do is I need to get all of this to connect together. Let's hold shift, let's drag this out one time and then go to vertex mode and target weld this point to here. And then we're going to take this point down to here. Okay. And you'll see that we get a little bit of a curve right there that it's kind of cutting over that. It doesn't look that great, so let's hit Control Z one time. Let's actually edit and swift loop. Let's add a loop right here, just like that. It's going to go all the way under and up to that point. It's going to follow that loop, and I really don't like that loop there. That loop is going to come in handy. Tell you what, let's go ahead and keep it there. Let's right click and target weld here to here. Okay, so see how it creates that curve for us? It looks really good at this point. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take that curve, or those points that made that new curve, and I'm actually going to use them. So I'm going to turn on my edge constraint. I'm actually going to take this point, I'm going to pull it toward the edge here, just like this. And I'm going to do this all the way down. And I'm going to bring it until they're pretty close to that bottom edge. You'll see what this does here in just a moment. So taking these points and pulling them closer together, it's going to actually pinch this corner and make it a nice tight corner. So that's going to be really helpful for us. It's going to help us to see our shape in this. Okay, and it's really going to sharpen it up. Pull that there. We're going to pull that straight across to here. Okay, and again, this is coming right up the inside of that scoop, that little curve there. And we're going to pull that up to here. And then I'm actually going to select this vertex and this one, and I'm going to connect them. Connect can be found under Edit Vertices, and that's going to connect the two vertices with an edge. Now look at what's happened here. Let's hit Alt-X, turn off our vertex mode, and because we added that segment in there, you can see that it has hardened up that edge. It's pinched it, okay, making it nice and hard there. Let's actually take that edge right there. Let's pull that out in the X. Go ahead and turn off your edge constraint there. Let's let that flow into that a little bit better. I think I moved that maybe on accident. Actually, I didn't pull it back out whenever we moved that door, whenever we pushed this area in. Okay, so that's nice and flat again. And there we go. So now, if I go to my left view, I'm just checking a couple of things really quickly about this. Let me pull that back some. Just like that. And just trying to even out some of these polygons. Let me actually undo and pull it back using my edge constraint. I don't want to change the shape too much. Okay, so we got a nice little flowing line that comes up into that. We've got our A-pillar that comes around like this, but more importantly now we need to continue this on across the back side here. Now, what's really important about this edge right here that goes across the top, even though we have that matching the corner of our windshield, if we take a look at this in the front, you know, it's not going right across the top like this. It's actually cutting it right in the middle. And so what I need to do now is I need to move these points and get those into the proper position. So in my top view, you can see that this is coming across. I'm going to take these points, and let's actually turn off our edge constraints. I'm going to take these outside points and I'm going to pull those until it basically splits these two lines. Okay, so it's going to flow just like that, and then we'll come across the bottom line right here and we'll match that to the window. Now we're going to go just to this point right now. Let's clear all of this up first, and then we can clear up that mess that we've got in the back there. So as you can see, just take it nice and slow. Build out what you can see, and once you've built out a little bit of one thing, you can come in and you can start to modify a little bit of another. Okay, and then you'll straighten it up and then move on from there. So really quickly, let's take this edge right here across the bottom. Let's pull it out to something like that. Let's go to our top view, and then let's take the vertices of that. Let's straighten those up, kind of like this. And I want this vertex to touch that line of the window. So you'll pull it out in the X direction until it meets that. We'll do the same thing here. Pull that out till it meets, and then take its vertex, pull that across like that, make it parallel. And then we'll pull this one across like this. This one needs to come out until it touches the edge there. And then this one, it's pretty good. We might pull it back in a little bit. And then we'll pull this to right about here. Get these lines to flow together, just like that. See how nice and smooth that came out? And then just modify your points that you have on your window until all of that comes together and looks right. Alright, so now let's take a look at it in our perspective. You hit Control X to go turn off see-through mode. And I'm just going to pull these around. I want this to look nice and flat. Sometimes whenever you're modeling, you can't always, you know, follow along with what the reference image looks like. Sometimes you do have to come in and just kind of look at it and say, all right, well, let me pull this out a little bit. Let me try to flatten this area out, get it to flow nice and neat together. You know, just a couple of things like that you'll have to modify. Okay. So it's kind of like a feeling sort of thing. All right, so we've finished out that A-pillar. Now at this point what we can do is we can take this edge and hold shift and drag that out. And what we're doing here is we're creating what's called a pole. And this is basically where a strip of polygons comes off of another one. And so it can create this star, which we'll see in just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to finish this. I'm going to bring it all the way down until we meet right about here. And then we can take these points. Let me pull it right about there. Okay, something like that. And then you can go to your top view, and you can take these points here and you can move those around. Try to match up that shape there of the trunk. And just staying parallel with this. Now you might be asking, why don't we just go to that line? Well, I have another set of polygons that are going to come up to this line and follow that flow all the way down. And we're actually going to go ahead and get started on that in our next lesson by creating the roof of our car. So I'll see you then.